Hi. So yeah, the problem that we started out with was that patients, parents and carers are the only one who can kind of see the full picture of their information, particularly when it comes to the stuff they receive in physical documents, and that they're relying on kind of these coming in from lots of different places. And when professionals could benefit from information that they don't have access to, there's no easy way for them to kind of provide that, for them to quickly share it, and for other professionals involved in care to kind of have a bit of extra context. So we're kind of thinking about carers of people with complex needs and the different kind of sources of information that things might be coming from, and how this might lend itself to kind of bridging the gaps between the different kind of care settings in the NHS, but also kind of looking at when there's overlap with local authority services, like for things like education healthcare plans, or input from private healthcare professionals, or potentially when people are abroad or moving from abroad.
So none of us are experts on this bit of it, but we kind of looked at the context and digital records, where currently digital records are, various models for that. So at the moment, like in the UK, we've got a kind of custodianship model where the provider controls the data, but patients have lots of rights of access and how that data is used. And then you've got various other ways of doing it. So in Estonia, which is probably a very good model of patient control, is that use blockchain technology. So the patients have absolute control and ownership of their data and who accesses it. They can see who else is accessing it as well. And then maybe the co-construction model, which is a way that you have a third party, which is a legal entity which holds the data and puts all the security around it, and then the providers and the patients or carers can access that. So there's various different models. We're absolutely not experts in this, and I think some of you probably are. And we then looked at what other models of digital care records there were that might be kind of competitors.
So what we've actually come up with then is the glue that will stick all these pieces of the puzzles back together to come up with an effective solution. This is patient-centric, or perhaps patient-carer-centric. It is not necessarily to do with a particular NHS specialty or discipline. It's more to do with any kind of care provider that could be there. It's about getting that information into the system, and also being given the option of getting it back out to the correct person. Automated by AI to kind of categorise those documents, and also providing a secure way of then sharing it with those care providers as well, specifically time-limited sharing.
Okay, so we're just gonna go through it. Okay, so that's essentially how Glue works, and it's upload, data file, storage, sharing on demand. So we're going to show you sort of the rough mock-up. Okay, so I'm going to just play a scenario and sort of talk through it. This person has sort of some documents they need to go. They're based in the Midlands, but they have a specialty appointment that's in Manchester. Manchester doesn't have all the information they need. So before their appointment, they can upload some documents. They can bring in a PDF. The PDF is used with a viewer. The viewer will help aggregate sort of all this information in, document title. They can then categorize it to a location and say, hey, this is related to a discharge summary. I can give a brief description. I can tag it with something that, might be endo, something along those lines, and then I can upload that document. Super useful. Now I've got the document, I've put it in a folder in a collection, I can view that in documents. Now, the other feature that I'm going to highlight is being able to share those documents or folders. I can click these documents, or a folder, for example. I can send it as an email, as a linked attachment, or I can download it. So there's another side to this that is sort of that ability for someone to see those documents. There you go. To our other slide.
Can I ask you?
Whew.
Oh, is this it?
There you go. There you go.
Great.
Questions?
Yeah. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you very much. I was going to say, my question is there more of the demo?
Is there more of the demo that you want to do?
There are more sections of it showing like how the files are managed in terms of categories.
The thing, you've got time to show the demo in your questions.
Okay. Let's go back. Come on. There There we go. Okay. So, for example, like you've got this ability to categorize and move things in, and then you can send that whole file folder in like a carousel view. So if a clinician wants to see, oh, these different things, you can look through it. But the useful thing is the searching functions in terms of being able to search through a PDF and look for this was what this doctor said at this appointment, and finding it and being able to collect those documents that you know are relevant or you think might be relevant to that next appointment. So it's a lot about organizing, keeping your files where you need it, and then also in the sense of being able to sort of tell your story. If you've got a child that has complex physio needs, you always get asked about videos. It's a record where all your videos are, so you're not scrolling through your photos hoping to find the video from 6 months ago. It's sort of that sort of organization. It's taking all these different pieces that in an ideal world you could shove onto a file management system in a NHS app, but it doesn't solve the solution if you've got it from different locations as well. So it's sort of that aspect, so those different components and pieces. So I hope that explains a bit more.
Huh? Yeah. Thank you.
And who decides what goes into it, and how would you support people navigating that?
So that will always be the patient. So this material is not clinical stuff that's shared between clinicians. This is at the point at which you might have received a hard copy letter. This is your electronic storage, if you like, of that as a parent or as a patient. So you are in control of who sees what. And when something is sent, a link, perhaps you're seeing a clinician next week and you'd like them to see certain pieces of historical information, including perhaps a video of an episode that had happened 6 months ago, you can send that over via an email link, but that link may be time constricted, so it may only be live for a week or 24 hours or whatever it is. So the patient is completely in control, and that's the key here, that this is a little bit more about putting the patient back at the heart of this. And there's some soft elements of this. How do I like to be communicated to? What are my particular needs? If it's a small child, maybe they've got a fluffy bunny they want to keep with them during all these things. These things can also be sent as a sort of passport in advance. So it's a kind of holistic approach to your care over years.
I suppose the second part of that was how do you envisage supporting people to know what to put in?
They can put whatever they want in, it's theirs.
Okay.
I think you're asking, do people need to be coached in how to use it? But I guess that's something that you would
Yeah,
consider.
it's a third party capability. So you can explore it, and it's for you. It's your device, so you can put anything you want.
Yeah,
so,
but how would you get the word out to people and allow them to support it? How would you get users to people
Yeah, so
actually
this is-
use it?
That's a whole
It's a
new...
whole- this is an entity. So that we envisage that. I mean, that business model is key here, right? Because there is a limited company that does something very similar.
Yeah.
We would envisage it needs to be grant orientated, so it needs to be a not-for-profit kind of structure.